as he joins me here on the Fan Yes Network. Bill, Mike Francesa, how are you? Welcome.
Good, Mike. Thank you. What's going on?
All right. Tell me what your thoughts are as we get ready for a Game 6.
Well, I would suspect before it started it was going to be a pretty evenly matched. I think after the first 4 games, though, I don't think it was going to be looked at as being a haphazardly played World Series. But when you come back to Boston, they're up 3-2. You got the young phenom Waka on the mound against the overlooked Lackey in the postseason. I say overlooked because every time he goes out there on the mound, somebody's talking about the other pitcher instead of him, and he's been faring pretty well. But I suspect the game's going to be played a little bit cleaner as Game 5 was, and we'll see how it turns out.
All right, how about Waka in this setting? Boston, we know how crazy they are up there. Tonight, they haven't had a chance to celebrate a championship up there. The crowd is raucous, paying a fortune for tickets. Is the setting an issue tonight for the Cardinals?
I don't think so. What Waka's gone through already, he faced elimination in Pittsburgh, and look how starved that fan base was, and I just heard that was electric up there. And he pitched well. He beat the Dodgers twice on his way. He came into Fenway and got his feet wet earlier in the series and did well. So I would suspect he's going to be able to take the ball. I mean, the thing to look for is if he's up in the strike zone and then say ball 1 and ball 2 with his fastball because it looks like he's overthrowing, maybe the moment's getting him. I said that before he pitched the last time, and he seemed to be down. And I don't think he had his best stuff.
I don't either. He didn't get the curveball over the other day.
No, in his last outing, and he wasn't throwing as hard either. So let's see if the first inning he's 95 and 96. But that changeup he has, it's pretty ridiculous. It's one of the best the game has right now.
I agree. Now, Big Papi's scalding hot. Now he's got Napoli back behind him. Does that change how Waka approaches Ortiz now that he has Napoli behind him?
Well, I think he was being careful with him the last time. He threw him the 3-2 changeup. He got hit over the fence, over the Greenwood Monster, and just threw one up. I suspect they're going to be very careful with Big Papi, and they are going to like the matchup of Napoli and Waka if somebody's on base. And don't be surprised if the Joy hits a double in the first inning with 1 out, that they just don't, throw 4 wide ones. Maybe not intentional, but see if they can't set up a double play. The tricky part about that is, do you really feel that good of it? Because Napoli, with that stroke that he has, is kind of made for Fenway, so it could be 3-0 on one pitch after that. But Papi is just out of his mind right now, and I think you're better off served if you just kind of pitch around him, take your chances with the next guys.
All right, if you're Lackey, what's your approach? Are you going to worry about Beltran? Are you going to just pitch straight up? What's your approach against the Cardinal lineup?
Yeah, I think he's going to go after it, as a normal game. Holiday's the only one that's really jumping out at me to do damage right now. Beltran's a great postseason player, but I don't think he's quite right yet after the Fenway wall bit him in Game 1. So you're sitting there looking at this matchup. Lackey, his stuff is probably as good as it was when he was with the Angels way back when. His velocity's up. He seems to be able to throw that curveball for strikes. He's got that little cutter and slash slider. So he's pitching right now extremely well. He's very confident, and I think he's going to go out there and compete no matter who's in the batter's box.
All right, let's say Waka throws a gem, and we're here tomorrow, Bill. Does that, in your mind, make tomorrow a toss-up, or do you give Cards an edge because they got momentum? Do you like the matchup one way or the other tomorrow? What about tomorrow's matchup?
Well, I may be going down with a sinking ship, but because when this thing started, I picked the Cardinals in 7. So I have to stay with the Cardinals right there. If they can come out with a win tonight, and you think about the momentum, and you always talk about in baseball, it's just as good as your next day starter, there's some question marks, I think, with both of them.
I agree.
Kelly pitched better, I believe, than Peavy did last time.
Both hittable, both very hittable.
They're both capable of giving up some runs, That's for sure. And on that side of it, I would have to look at Kelly as saying his stuff is better. So, then you put the Fenway frenzy into it and everything else. But before this series started, I picked the Cardinals in 7, so there's no way I can go back on that. So I say they win tonight, and somehow they find a way to do it again.
Will you be surprised? Now, Lackey has pitched well, and, if you go by his history, he's been a good big game pitcher. Fascinating that if you went from where they were with the Francona September mutiny 2 years ago, and Lackey and the beer and the chicken wings and everything else, pretty amazing that he could pitch the World Series clincher tonight. You know that?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. But what I like about him is he's one of those guys that he doesn't have to have his best overall stuff to go out there and compete and win. And that's a tribute to him and his makeup. So you think about the other night, he gave up the two-base error. Yachty got on second. The next ball was a pass ball. He kind of looked at it like he had some negative body language out on the mound, but then he gets out of it. And you saw that little fist pump. So he's full of confidence right now, and he's willing to compete.